In this grammar focus, we are going to look at distancing techniques. These techniques can be used to communicate that the information the speaker or writer provides is not definite or fully verified. In these cases, the information is often second-hand. Let's have a look at how this technique works. It is important to remember that when writing material as part of your work or studies, or even when taking part in spoken presentations or similar, when you cannot back up information with a verified source, that lack of certainty should be made clear using distancing techniques in order to distance yourself from that content. There are various ways to create distance. We can use the verbs seem or appear to communicate an impression we have, or we can also use seem or appear with it as the subject. Reporting verbs can also be used with it as the subject or as part of an impersonal passive. Modal verbs such as may, might, or could can be used to express doubt. This is also used in spoken and more informal discourse. In both formal and informal contexts, adverbs such as apparently and possibly can be added to your sentence to add an element of doubt. And the reporting verb claim automatically infers a lack of confidence in what is being reported. Let's look at examples of distancing techniques using seem and appear first. Without any distancing techniques, we communicate a fact to our audience that may not be a fact. It may be an unverified assertion. If we do not make that lack of certainty regarding the information clear to our audience, we are misleading them. So we add an element of doubt. As we said, we can use it as the subject or not, as we can see in this first example. It seems that UPF is more harmful than we knew. UPF seems to be more harmful than we knew. Using these distancing techniques communicates to our audience that this is unverified or second-hand information. Here is another example with appear. It appears that the company was unaware of their inaccurate food labeling. It would appear that the company was unaware of their inaccurate food labeling. The company appears to have been unaware of their inaccurate food labeling. The company would appear to have been unaware of their inaccurate food labeling. We can see that adding would to appear or seem adds even more doubt to the credibility of what is being reported. Reporting verbs can be used in impersonal passive structures as distancing techniques. Again, this can be done using it as the subject or not. This can be done with a number of reporting verbs such as expect, estimate, think, say, claim, and consider. As we mentioned at the beginning of this grammar focus, modal verbs such as may, might, and could can also be used as distancers, as they are modal verbs of possibility and deduction. Using these verbs either means that something is generally possible, or they express conclusions you have come to, given the evidence that you have. Look at these examples. All these sentences express a possibility, but not a certainty. In some cases, you might use must if you feel that something is surely true or can't, if you think it can't be the case, given what you know. However, this use of modal verbs still leaves room for doubt and distances the author or speaker from the information stated. Apparently can also be used to distance yourself from the information you communicate. As you can see from these examples, it can go at the beginning of the sentence or before the main verb. Possibly or probably could also be used, but only positioned before the main verb. And our last examples of distancing techniques use the verb claim. The meaning of the verb claim immediately distances you from the content of what is reported, because it means that something is said or maintained, but yet has to be verified. That is the end of the Lesson 5 grammar focus on distancing. Now let's practice.